Okay, hello for real now. Hello, it's Wednesday. It's the afternoon. It's been a day. I hope you've had a day. It's certainly been a day. Let's get hype about what happened today. I think mostly pull requests today. A decent number of pull requests today. A lot of cleanup and stuff. Let's see. I actually merged this today. Yeah. Alexandra had some good thoughts. Oh, yeah. I made those changes that I was talking to Alexandra about. And that was now we generate top level tests. So when you run these, each of these are the name of a unit test. It is, in fact, Wednesday, my dudes. So now we have at least 4 tests. Hell yeah. Yeah, if you feel excited to fill this in, anything that gets us closer to proving that all this works, hell yeah. I'm glad to have built up some infrastructure for that. And then Alexandra had a Blinky example, so we merged that. And I think we talked about this morning. I basically just smashed the merge button on that, as you do. I realized we weren't doing Clippy really so much. I have it set up in my Rust analyzer so that it runs Clippy, so that when you have something that's like not right, like if I were to call this run or something, it'll just, I don't know why it's giving me blue. Oh, now it's just complaining about other things. So if I were to just copy this and also have something just named wrong, I'm just trying to introduce a lint. So I get squigglies. So I try and fix the squigglies, but actually my Rust analyzer is only configured to have some features enabled. So I don't always see them. And basically I caught CI having the having some issues because I was staring at CI for a second. So I went and fixed this. This also means introducing a slight hack because the SS Marshall crate, which is used, probably shouldn't be, but is used for some of the embassy USB stuff. And it gets big mad if Saturday has the stood feature enabled, but SS Marshall doesn't because it's missing an impl of stood error and stuff like that. So I've run into it in other projects where I know you need to enable it and stuff like that. So I've propagated that hack to yet another place. I'm figuring out why my email is upsetting me. No, it's fine. Cleaned up some lifetimes that weren't used. I think this is the new if, let, and also other things stuff. I think this is a relatively new Rust thing that probably messed up our MSRV, but I don't care. Stable is good for an MSRV. Yeah, it's just a bunch of clippy lints. So I fixed a bunch of clippy lints. So hell yeah. And then I added a Clippy CI check because we also weren't checking that before. And also because I copied and pasted all the CI jobs for forever. Apparently our build CI job, the job was called Miri, as you do. But now we got that in CI. That's working. And then cleaned up some stuff in Alexandra's PR of just being overly pedantic about TOML formatting. I probably should install some kind of TOML auto formatter. I don't. I just do this meticulously and manually. I didn't used to do this until I saw, I think it was the ESP32 folks do this manually. And I saw them do that, and I was like, well, now that I've seen that, I can't unsee that. So now, ever since I saw the ESP32 folks do that, now I align all of my things, and I sort them alphabetically. And I'm like, it's just a nice, it's professional as fuck. I just have to do it now. And then I started trying to write some conformance stuff for, what happened was I was poking around the interface stuff because I realized I've mentioned that there's plumbing for sending NACs over the wire. So like if you were sending to a destination and its interface was full, theoretically you could send back a NAC message. Like there's a protocol error specifically. So like there's a way to basically say that the body is an error instead of a T, basically. Surprise, every message is actually a result. And so normally you send a T, like an OKT, but you can also sometimes send back an error E. And this is based on the packet kind. And I was like, well, what would it take to do that? And then when I was poking around, I realized that Tokyo TCP's and Embedded IO Asyncs RX handlers were basically the same. Like they had some slight type differences. So I figured out how to make them mostly shared. So you can see like I removed it in Embedded IO and I added it at the top level of the mod, and then I also removed it in Tokyo TCP because if it only exists in one place, we only need to verify it in one place. This had some interesting generic shenanigans that I might clean up some more, but it's also sort of the end of the day. I realized that you could get away with a lot less type specified if you only specified N netstack handle, although it does mean that I need types like this that basically say like, hey, if we are going to set the interface state, I need to have the ident for that, which both of them currently just take an empty tuple because this is direct. This interface ident is intended for if you have like 12 interfaces or a dynamic number of interfaces, you can uniquely identify each of your interfaces. But it's a generic type, so for these like single interface profiles, it's just like the empty tuple type. So I don't know. I want to see if I can clean this up a little bit. And then I realized that we might actually be able to make the entire RX worker the same. The only challenge is the Embedded IO one uses a Cobbs accumulator with a frame, whereas the Embedded IO one takes a borrowed slice that it uses as a temporary buffer, and the Tokyo TCP makes like a heap slice that you use as a temporary buffer. So like instead of making a big ass stack or static, it uses a heap. But I think I could maybe crush these down a little bit more so that most of Direct Edge is actually like fundamentally the same. I'm still kind of figuring out how to use these generics right, like in a pleasant way. But this is one of those ones where I was able to get rid of a bunch of generics by just saying, no, you don't care what profile it is. The only reason that we cared about what profile it is so that we know what kind of identifier to hand it here. And I think it's reasonable for the RX workers to hold their own ident. Like, I don't think that's an unreasonable expectation, and particularly since here we always know it's going to be an empty tuple type. It's kind of syntax noise, but it happens to work really well. So I kind of want to see if I can move some more of the stuff that exists in the exact impulse up a level. So like it just becomes the Direct Edge RX worker versus the Embedded IO specific RX worker. And here for interface impl, I was thinking about making this copy because in most cases the idents are probably either going to be a U64 or an empty tuple type, but I suppose you could also do a string for it, or if you wanted to be like a vec of bytes or something, I don't know. So I chickened out and just went clone and hope the compiler can see the fact that an empty tuple.clone is a silly thing to be doing. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I'll probably finish this up tomorrow, but I love these kind of things, so anything that I can collapse down. This is one of those, like, in going to formalize stuff, it sometimes forces you to clean stuff up because it's like effective laziness in that, you know, if you can collapse a bunch of code down so you only have to describe it once, now you only have to describe one thing and not two things, and that's very nice. So I'm going to try and do that, and then I might actually try and implement NACs. I got kind of in my own, I went down, as you do, a hyperfixation hole. So I was thinking about setting up a test bed that is specifically like two devices. So like two fake simulated devices connected by, I could either use the existing TCP impl or I could make like a channel or something like that. But something that specifically is not exactly snapshot testing, but like sort of snapshot testing. Like I want to make sure things like, hey, you send an endpoint request, you get back an endpoint response. Yes, that works. You send an endpoint request and they don't have that service. You get back a NAC. You send an endpoint request, you send another one before they have a chance to answer, you get back an error. So like kind of deterministic testing, but at the it's kind of like a different approach, because the current testing that I did in the conformance PR is much more unit testy, because I'm like mocking the profiles and the sockets, and this would be more of an integration-y test, but still mostly fake. Like we're still using like a spherical interface in a vacuum, if that makes sense. But oh yeah, NAC, NAK, negative acknowledgements. But yeah, I might try and do that. We'll see. But cleaning this up was interesting to me because I was trying to figure out where I would even put that code. And the answer is, now that I have DirectEdge mod, let me make this a little bigger. It would be in the RX worker. So where you process a frame, we process the message, and then basically we pass it to the net stack. And so here, if that comes back as an error, at least in the case where we're doing send raw, if this comes back, like this res is an error, here we should basically immediately turn around. It's sort of turning around. The issue is that like whenever you want to send, you send through the net stack. So then we would immediately need to craft a response frame in the RX worker that like swaps the header, destination, and source, fills in the body as an error message, and then replies here. So here we would do like let header equals turn into error reply header. And then we would do something like nsh.stack.send error header the error like this. And then if this fails, then we don't care. Because this is the netstack essentially like, hey, we got a message. Hey, netstack, here, I made this for you. And if the netstack says, no, fuck off, I don't want that, then we go, okay, cool. So now we're going to turn around and send this out the interface. This is kind of awkward because essentially, like, this is awkward because we are the interface's RX worker, and this send is actually just to shove the error reply into our interface's TXQ. So I mean, like, this is awkward because it's kind of us going to the netstack to send something back to us, but the RX and the TX workers aren't like super coupled to each other at all. So this requires like to decide whether we do the awkward thing and send through the net stack, or we come up with some way to hold on to the outgoing message queue and try and immediately shove a message in it. So I mean, like, this is simpler, so I'm probably gonna do this, but like, it does seem a little silly that we go through the whole routing process again when we know the answer is us. Like, I've thought about having some, like, I don't know if they're unsafe, but like some kind of methods that only the interface workers can touch, because it seems silly to, or like maybe a send method that is like a bit more specific, like this is definitely for us, or this is definitely not for us kind of stuff, where I can shortcut some of that. But at the end of the day, those checks are not that expensive. It's checking like 2 fields in the header, so I'm probably over worrying about it. So like the answer is I'm probably just going to do this because this is like the semantically right thing to do. Most of that cleaning up probably also applies to that guy's WebSocket impl. What? Oh, the Corbin's. Yeah. Maybe just a channel between the RX and the TX worker. Are they on the same process? They're in the same process. They may not even be in the same thread. But right now, the other awkward thing is we would need to hold some handle to it, and I'm worried that that's going to make the lifetimes suck. So I'm probably going to do it the dumb way. If you want to mess with it, Alexandra, if you want to mess with trying to shortcut those two, we could, but then we get into sort of a weird thing where, like, if we're sending something right now, going through the net stack also has the advantage of, like, the outgoing queues are BBQ, which is single producer, single consumer asterisks, in that you could access them from multiple places, but if you have, like, a grant active, then someone else trying to send would just fail. Like, it would get like a busy error, which means if someone like immediately tried to use the netstack to send something while we're sending a reply, they could get like sending to the netstack failed, so it would look like the netstack was full or the interface was full, versus if we grab, like, doing this stack actually grabs a mutex on the netstack, so it's like sort of semantically better. I know I'm really talking myself into staying with this, but I'm glad that I talked about it because it could go the other way, but I think this is like the righter thing to do. That sounds like lifetime hell. Maybe. Yeah. I'm supposed to be the proactive one. Let's just go through NetSec. Yeah. I think I agree. Like, I think there's even like to do match on error, potentially try and send NAC. I may not want to do every error here. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I want to match here. So maybe only in some cases, but yeah. Me swap source at dest change frame kind. Any other metadata? Back to sender, but now with error type info. And yeah, if this sending fails, then what are you going to do? Like, we're not TCP. We don't do retries. You know, sorry, lost it. Yeah, that's today. That's about what I got done. I had a lovely cookie as well. It was a good day for cookies, and I had a little those little Japanese. They call them donuts in Pokemon, but they're not. They're onigiri. Had an awesome onigiri for lunch, so that was nice. But yeah, if anyone else has any questions before I wrap up for the day, otherwise I'm probably gonna go figure out what I'm gonna do for dinner. But hell yeah, reducing, like, a lot of my early code was just copied and pasted in a bunch of places because I didn't know how to abstract over it. And I'm slowly crunching that back down, and it's making me feel better about my original design choices. So we love to see it pay off, but yeah. When you finish the direct edge cleaning up, I'm thinking I'll impl an Axum WebSocket impl. That would be dope. I'll try and get it done first thing tomorrow. If you feel blocked by me, let me know, and I could just merge this, because it's clean as it is. Like, let me just merge this and stash my changes, and that way you can, well, no, I'll fuck with it. Let me know tomorrow if I'm blocking you, but in general, like, I'll leave this as is. The check's green. If you want to start working on stuff, Alexandra, just smash the merge button. And I'll, like, right now my changes are just, like, the notes that I have there, and I'm not going to touch it again tonight. So if you're going to touch it tonight or tomorrow morning, just smash the merge button on this. Like, it's green. It's fine. And I'll just do another PR after this. Otherwise, this is where I'll pick up tomorrow. But don't block on me. But if you want an excuse to not touch it until later tomorrow, cool. Use me as an excuse. But yeah. Yeah. Last call for any questions. Otherwise, I'm gonna go figure out dinner. I think. Let me look at my. No, not studio. I need to go to my email. I want to see if I have anything going on Friday that might mess up my streams. I have a meeting in the morning, but that's before. Oh no, that's on Thursday anyway. And then I have a meeting Friday afternoon, but it's before stream time. So, maybe Friday afternoon, I might stream a little earlier. I might do it at 7, just because it's Friday, and I don't really want to be sitting at my computer at 8 o'clock on a Friday. So I might tentatively schedule Friday afternoon stream for 7 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock's usually a fine time for me to stop, because I usually work like noon to 8 or so. I'm waking up a bit earlier than normal to go to do the morning streams here, but I also take, more chill after 9 time. What are you going to have for pizza? Or what am I going to have for dinner? Probably pizza. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, today was a good day. Got a bunch of PRs done. What up to everyone in the chat? It's honestly like looking at the YouTube interface. There's like 3 places where it shows viewers and none of the numbers agree with each other. So it's hilarious to me because I Alexandra's in the chat is basically the answer. But yeah. Also had pizza. Hell yeah. There's a place not far from here. It's I got a couple places that I go to and I walk in and they go, "Hey, you want this?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Okay, cool." So love that. But yeah. Okay. Go once. Hey, what's up, CB Jamo? I know there's a delay. How are you doing? Living your lurker life? Hell yeah. Another person, yo. Yeah, if you can hear me and you are in chat, say what up in the chat. I appreciate all my lurkers out there. And I also appreciate Alexandra's hype. But yeah, if there's folks in the chat, say what up and you'll make me happy. A bunch of people just jumped in. I don't know. But yeah, if no one has questions, I'm going to leave. So whatever this number of concurrent viewers is, what up? I start right at 8, and then I start at 10:30, but met family on the way up to pizza? Hell yeah. I'm going to meet no one because, well, maybe I'll take my dog for a walk. We'll see. But yeah, things are going well. If you haven't started using Ergot, hop in. Come say hey. Do the call for experimentation. Ask me questions. I will answer them on stream. Let me make sure I haven't been ignoring them. I have not been ignoring them. Yeah. But okay, cool. I'm going to go get some pizza. I hope everyone has a good night. I'm going to keep working on my documentation and testing. Maybe getting Nax working so that we can have, like, vaguely... Oh, yeah, I got a super cute dog. Okay, hold on. Can I find a picture of my dog? All the pictures I have of my dog is just sending back and forth with my wife because, like, we can only take pictures of him when he's passed out. So he's a corgi, and so he just like lays on his back in I'm trying to find a good cute picture of him that also isn't like on my street that doxes myself. Let's download this. There we go. This is my dog. Sorry, it's his junk all up in the face, but like he just sleeps on his back on hard surfaces like that, and I don't understand why it's comfortable, but this is how he lives his life. Let me see if I can find a picture of him being cute somewhere. I thought my wife sent me a picture like today of him being cute somewhere. Oh, there we go. That's him looking like he has allergies. There you go. Cute corgi. So that's cute corgi for the stream. What up, Siraj? Yeah, they do love hard flat surfaces. He'll sleep like on the hardwood floor with his head on the carpet, because like that's the right, like, doesn't matter if there's a bed or if there's like a couch that he could sleep on. Like, he's a dude. But all right, we need dog stream. Yeah. Okay. Have a good evening, everyone. I'm gonna go get pizza. So throw some discussion in the chat. Come back on Friday morning. Come say hey. Come back Friday afternoon, probably like 7 p.m. Siraj, I'm not teaching anything right now. I'm working on my project Ergot. Definitely come check it out if you haven't yet. It is a cool messaging library, and if you're not sure what it's about, if you go to docs.rs/Ergot, there's a lovely book module. So this is docs.rs/Ergot. And if you go to the book, I've been writing a lot of docs about what it is, what you can do, what all the bits are, what you can do with it, and that's what I've been streaming about. So that's what I've been working on. So, have a good night, everyone. I will see you on Friday. All right, bye.